Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandez, and
I'm Chris J. Wardner. Hello.
And we're about to review Laverne Tar Pits, directed by Tom Turovich once again, written by Roger Garrett, who manages to do a really good job here, capturing the boys' general feeling and June-ness, so to speak. This is from season 7 of Laverne Shirley, and I bet you Chris is going to have some facts about these folks coming up.
Yeah, the least about Roger Garrett. We got a little bit about Roger Garrett. We got a little bit about those actors. Tom Turovich, who continues to be incredibly elusive. At some point, I will possibly capture him. At this point, I'm beginning to wonder if he is the first example of a cryptid director.
The man is a Pokemon. He is a Pokemon of a director. Oh, man. Okay, here's what the episode's about. While hanging out at the Brea Tar Pits one afternoon, Lenny runs into Karen Caldwell, a local college student studying to get her master's degree in paleontology. Lenny reveals a flair for paleontology himself, and they bond. Soon they're dating, and the relationship seems to be going pretty well, to the amazement of his friends. Almost a month later, there's only one problem. Squiggy is jealous that Lenny's spending all of his time with Karen, and he soon raises objections about their romance. Will the boys be able to maintain their friendship, especially when Karen reveals she's leaving for New York? What do you think about this one?
You know, you told me this was going to be good.
Yeah.
I did not expect to like it as much as I did. But
Hey.
It makes a lot of sense with a Roger Garrett script. There are times in this show where a boy-centric episode doesn't necessarily feel like a boy-centric episode. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, I'm saying that it's like, it just feels natural that it focuses on this part of the story and these characters. And this is definitely one of those examples of it. There is a warmth and intelligence to this one that is also really special, and I really enjoyed. We'll get into the nitty gritty, but this was good.
Yeah. If Moving In is an episode about Laverne growing up and maturing in her dating habits and everything, this is about Lenny and Squiggy's friendship maturing a lot too, and their relationship. And it's about Lenny growing up and maturing as a person who's dating. Okay. They're a far, far, far cry from the guys who were like basically gang-banging phone switch operators back in Milwaukee. This is an excellent episode. It's a beautifully directed, beautifully written, very heartbreaking in certain moments. And it's really, really, really well anchored by Maggie Roswell as Karen, who is a very complex figure in a lot of ways. In that, in some ways she can be seen as interfering in the boys' relationship here, and interfering in the friendship that's been working just fine for decades. And she comes in as the spoiler.
Right.
And in other ways, she's really good for Lenny to a degree in teaching him about things that he already knows about himself. About his, his intelligence. About his ability to latch onto a topic like paleontology and about Brea Tar Pits and learn things. He can easily become a tour guide with the knowledge he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's an improvement.
It is. Furthermore, I also love how part of Karen's strength is the test that she gives to Squiggy and Lenny's relationship strengthens that relationship.
Yes.
And she's happy for that growth that they're expressing.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end.
Yes. It's one of those things I would love to have seen the character come back in some capacity, and because I know I harp on this a lot, but it's like I want to see more of how this develops, because this creates, especially in this characterization, especially the way Maggie performs it. It's so well rounded. Yeah, it's very mature and very calm and grounded, and allows David and Michael to both build off of what she does in a way that grows Lenny and Squiggy individually as characters. It's very good. I love how, in a way, what Maggie does with the performance in Karen is she plays a character that does not belong in a Laverne and Shirley sitcom comedy episode, but is because she's a very human and lovable character. And because she's not as zany, she doesn't, she's the straight man to all the chaos around her. Yeah. And it creates something very special here.
if everybody here kind of learns, the boys kind of realize how much they love this friendship in the end. They realize how much they love their connection. And that's really what Karen's purpose in the narrative is. She kind of teaches them something they kind of already knew about each other and themselves, and expands upon it. And gives them a window into who they are at heart. It's really good. It's a really good episode. It's a really impressive episode.
What's interesting about, talking about this growth of characters and the maturity of relationships, Roger Garrett being the author of this episode. Now, we've talked about him a lot, actually, recently, given he wrote Night at the Awards and Born Too Late. Mm-hmm. He also did Why Did the Fireman? Or at least is credited for it.
Yes.
That I find very interesting, given that structurally, it's not the same. I'm not going to equate what happened with Randy and Laverne in that story, obviously, to Lenny and Karen's situation, but the fact that it mirrors the idea of you have this relationship established in Act 1, it's been cut to some weeks later or a month later in Act 2, and then Act 3 is about the loss and the disillusion. It's fascinating thing that I didn't think about until we started talking about this and the maturity of it. Then I noticed in my notes, it's like, oh yeah, that's also Roger's credit. Oh, interesting.
It shows you that he has a really, really good, solid, deep grasp on who these characters are. Michael in particular has praised this guy for knowing how to write Lenny and Squiggy episodes.
Yeah, understandably.
That is a really, 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 really high compliment. And it shows how open he is actually to exploring the depths of these characters, how he and David just go for it. And enrich these characters that people tend to see, even now, as one-dimensional characters of the dumb guy. And Michael knew that's not it. David knew that's not it. Mm-hmm. That ultimately is what's fascinating. The fact that he specifically picks out Roger Garrett as somebody being able to write the boys. I thought that was good.
So, starting at the beginning of the episode, top of the episode, we go straight into the Brea Tar Pits, and it's great to see another new set. We've commented before that there's a lot of new sets in this season, and I do like that they recycle a Happy Days backdrop for this.
Why? See the houses. You can see the Cunningham's neighbors. You really can.
Yeah, I mean it's like you're not fully. This is not California. This is especially not the area around the Rancho La Brea Tar Pits.
No, not at all. Interestingly enough, a friend of ours and friend of the podcast asked Michael, "What the heck is standing in for tar here?" He said it was aloe vera. That's what he was told. It was aloe vera gel.
I kind of see it. It looks like almost like a gelatin mixture with ink to me.
Well, he was told aloe vera. He said he was told it was aloe vera, and he said it was very calming and soothing to be dunked in it.
Okay, I mean it's possible. Yeah,
that's what he said. That's what he said. He was told by Props. So that's what Props says it is.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah. It just looks like a pile of goo with a bunch of dead wildlife in there.
And mammals. There are only dead mammals in it. Yeah. I love that Lenny A knows this, and B, I love that it is an absolutely imperative thing that he has to get this out. He is right, and he has learned this, and darn it, you're gonna listen.
Because as you're talking about, that's the bit where he intercedes during the creepy guy macking on the studious girl.
God. I was going to mention, first of all, Squiggy wanting to fish in the tar pits is so him. He was told that, it was a fishable area, and it's not.
Yeah, well, there'd be wildlife as far as the eye could see, specifically.
Yep. And Lenny just meant dead kind. Was hard.
Yeah, as long as it's real tar.
Yeah, it's real tar.
And they do the scientific method, instead of just tipping it up with their hands, they go out to the truck and get a bucket.
So dumb. This is so dumb. I love that Lenny is a dinosaur guy. Of course he's a dinosaur guy.
Of course he's a dinosaur guy. Yeah. Well, with Jeffrey, oh yeah.
It's so in character, and his enthusiasm here is so in character. It's so good. And he's so excited about the pits, and it's so cute. Mm-hmm. And then we move on to something that's not cute, which is the creep in Karen, as you foreshadowed.
Yeah, so this guy, I want to mention, because I don't have a ton of actor notes for him, partly just because he had a pretty prolific career. Or I should say he still does, because he's still actually active. But that was Robert Arcaro, or Arcaro? Arcaro. Yeah. Anyway, as Man Who Sucks. But yeah, he was another day player and working actor, and despite only having a couple roles before this, he ended up actually staying very active. And he still is active even into 2020, where he was in an episode of Katie Keene, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I used to watch Katie Keene. I used to review Katie Keene. That's very interesting.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
But other credits include 2 episodes of Days of Our Lives, an episode of Fringe, and Sage Winters, My Psychic Life. So, yeah, this dude, macking on the girl, this whole paint the town red, 2 coats, I got paid today. And, wow. The fact he also uses that phrasing after when she says, there's a no in my lips and in my eyes, and he goes, come on, Custer, surrender the fort. You're surrounded.
God, wow.
Wow.
Ew, why? Ew, why?
I mean, I could see that this would be the point that Lenny, if it was Lenny and Carmine here, Carmine, Lenny would be, it'd be like, it's like, hey, Carmine, I'll pay you $5 if you punch that guy.
God. And I would root Carmine on at this point.
Oh,
I would be there. No, the bell's on going, yeah. Punch him in the dick. And then Lenny directs this guy to Laverne's place, which I have really mixed feelings about, and it's bad. Because it's shame because he's so endearing in this episode.
Mm-hmm. I hated that.
I hated that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it works out, but it still is pretty fucking shitty.
Yes. It's shitty of him to do that, A, and B, it's shitty that the show is basically telling us here that, well, Laverne's slutty, she'll just date anybody. And the narrative keeps proving it is the sick thing.
Yeah.
Between this and an upcoming episode and some Enchanted Era, she's just dating guys left and right without even bothering to check about who they are.
Yeah. Which in LA is really dangerous. It's bad enough in Milwaukee, but in LA is way worse.
Yeah. She would be a victim of the Zodiac Killer or the Hillside Strangler in 2 minutes.
No, or falling with the Manson family in another year or two.
God. Well, we'll get an episode where we get there.
I know a bit more about that than I should, but yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
You shouldn't know anything, but I know.
I know, that's fine. I had to rip the episode. I had to confirm that I had the episode in the collection from the DVDs, so that I didn't have to worry about the DVDs dying on me.
Yeah. You zoomed through the episode as you were burning it, and you asked me, why is Laverne dressed up like Patty Hearst? And well, we'll get there. We'll get there unless I slam my head into a concrete slab first.
Oh my God! Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I need to snuggle you and propose to you first. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
So Lenny then being able to throw the charm on after he chases the guy off. I love that he's still handsome, and even though he slips on the bench and she thinks it's cute. And I love the paleontologist thing, and he goes, how much do you need to study pails?
So simple. It's so nice. I love simply that, Squiggy's immediately, senses danger here because automatically Lenny is turning away from him. He's suddenly very, very into this girl and just pushing him away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, really great dialogue, too. And this Lenny and Karen scene is very, very, very good.
Oh, yeah.
Sir Walter Cronkite.
He's a pretty funny guy, especially when I'm telling a joke.
Yeah. Was funny. Prehistoric nut.
Mm-hmm.
His mind's being appreciated here. It's really nice. As long as there's some awkward sitting.
And I also really like that she is into him in a way that feels warm.
Yeah.
And safe. And Leonard Kozlowski, one ski, Karen Caldwell, one well. There are those moments when you make those connections with people. To be honest, that was kind of what happened when you and I first met, to be honest, in our online circles. I remember first month or two, I think you said, hey, I like your comma use, and it took me like a year to realize you were hitting on me.
That was experience. Yeah, it took a while. A while. Yeah,
it was cute, and it was so you. It was so us. It was great. And so, but that's what I mean is that type of realism comes across in this episode. Is very well communicated to the audience that they're finding a connection. They're finding a spark, and that spark is creating something
Yeah.
really safe and special for them.
Man alive, yeah. Yeah, it's really sweet, the way, they have commonalities, and she's willing to boost him about his brain, and he's just in awe that this smart girl likes him. Because Lenny's extremely low self-esteem will once again rear its ugly head in this episode to make me feel very sad.
Yeah.
There is something so beautiful, though, about the fact, that she's willing just to open up her book and show it to him, and he's like sitting there and he's just absorbing everything she's showing him. It's really sweet, really nice, and really, really tender. And poor Squig starts to immediately feel left out.
Yeah.
He was reading her something. It's really cute, and then he calls her Dame. She doesn't want to be called Dame. He goes, "Would you prefer wench?"
And
so
then
sweet.
how about woman? I've tried women. It doesn't work.
Yeah, boom, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Oh my.
So I wonder what was cut in that syndication dissolve, by the way, where Squiggy just suddenly poof is there.
There is a scene where Pax has this. Hi, Pax.
Hey, well,
Pax has a scene that's been clipped from a syndication edit where he walks up to Karen and puts his leg up and tries to grab her attention. That was cut out for the DVDs for absolutely no reason. There's no music edit going on. Makes no sense.
yeah,
but
I mean, there's
it
music
exists.
substitution later, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It exists, and it's one of those DVD edits that's ridiculous and should not be extant.
Uh-huh.
What the heck are Persian melon balls? What is that code for?
Well, when a melon baller and a Persian rug love each other very much, they have kittens.
We heard you was having puppies. It's the second time Squiggy makes that reference, and we'll get to that in a while. But, God, you feel so bad for Squig. He's just sitting there, and he's very melancholy.
Oh, yeah.
He can't be happy, because he's on the outside, and he can't even, Karen's on this highfalutin level, and he's, maybe feels like he can't reach it. He probably could reach it. Yeah, but he absolutely, feels like he's outmatched.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel bad for him. And meanwhile, Karen and Lenny are off in their blissful little cloud and at the girls' house party.
Yep, little house party, dancing, and yeah, that exchange with Squig and Carmine works so well. The whole I didn't get set up, I'm on my own on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. He's been mourning for his grand stepmother's death.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What for? You didn't kill her.
And like Carmine's reaction of like,
okay, I'm gonna leave this conversation now. You got fun.
Yeah,
by yourself.
I'm very uncomfortable. Yeah.
Lenny's wearing his good suit. He's wearing his good suit.
You're glad I'm inflated, which that's implications.
Boom, 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 boom. Boy, is he inflated for this girl. Yeah, it's almost been a whole month for these two.
Yeah.
3 weeks. And she gives him a little gift.
Yeah, she throws him a bone.
Oh, yeah, she throws him a bone. It's my favorite something.
And then they smooch and he goes, "Oh, my favorite lips." Oh, that's
the way Michael delivers that line. Oh my god.
Yeah, you melt. You just melt. Yeah.
Ugh, it's so sweet the way he does that. It's so soft and so nice.
I will have to take notes.
No. It's so good. So good.
One more Buffalo Bites the Dust definitely hits with a bit of a dark laugh, I have to say.
It's a very Lenny line.
It's a very Lenny line. Yeah, it's very good. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just...
We find out that the Tar Pits creep actually did show up at the apartment, and Laverne did go out with him.
Yeah, my note is, Laverne, no, don't date the sleaze. God damn it.
Oh, Freddie. Oh, Laverne. And she's sitting there in this terrible... I hate that outfit.
Oh, God.
It's not flattering to Penny. It's a horrible color. And the dress starts to make it look like she's not wearing a bra. And it's just like, it's so attractive. And what's happening to Laverne is terrible. They've just taken her brain out. They've removed her brain when it comes to men. Laverne would pretzel herself into different shapes for guys, sure. But she wasn't so dumb that she was just dating unattractive sleazeballs. You can see why she was attracted to somebody like sleazy, but criminal, but attractive.
Yeah, criminal but
like
handsome.
Jake,
yeah,
like
attractive,
Jake.
handsome. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see why she was dating. Yeah.
I was thinking like, the like Mr. Body and Clue,
Yeah. You can see why she's dating a Jake. You can see why she's dating a I've said this before. I know I've said this before in another episode, but you can see why she's dating guys who are handsome but criminal. In the case of guys like good old Dick Swamp and this dude, what are they offering her? Dick Swamp in particular, it's like, what are these guys offering? They're semi-attractive, sure, but she's dated better in Milwaukee. And it's like, and she's potentially going out with serial killers because she's not background checking. It's like,
It's not like back home where, there was all these connections she had made growing up that she had a network that would tell her, oh, that guy, yeah, no, don't do that,
And the fact that Lenny just recklessly sends this guy to her, but she isn't receptive to it. It's just, it's bad all around. It's 2 seconds out of the episode, so I'm not going to ding it that hard, but it's still annoying.
Yeah, that is a bugbear for you, for sure.
Yeah. And it's got nothing to do with shipping stuff. It's just a bad thing to do to a friend, period.
It is. I mean, it's a case of where we're supposed to like this protagonist of Lenny in this episode, and it's like, this makes it hard to like the protagonist. This isn't like it's a character flaw like Natalie Portman in Annihilation and the cheating flashbacks. Like, this is a case of like, this is bad, dangerous criminal behavior that I cannot.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea in all respects. It really is.
Anyway, but Lenny does get to leave with the girl he came in with, which is great.
Sweet. It's really sweet. That is sweet. That's all. This all complicates the sweetness here, but yeah, that's really sweet. Poor Squig.
Squiggy, David's pathetic performance. Oh, I don't want to throw a wet banquet on the festivities. So goodbye. Yeah. Bye.
Oh, bye. Oh, poor Squig. And then he goes and he sleeps in the ice cream truck and worries Lenny for once.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't show up. He's not in the apartment in the morning.
That's a nice little Laverne's crush echo, actually.
Yes! Laverne's crush, Lenny's crush.
Boom.
There we go.
There you go.
Boom, boom. I love that the boys specifically go to the girl's apartment to argue instead of arguing in their own apartments.
Well, part of it's because they're looting from the girl's apartment again, which I love them returning to that. I so love them coming back to this. I love this idea. They just come in for groceries and they take their milk, they take their cereal, and Lenny calls up girls, and they're so late for work and they've gotten so used to this. They're like, "Oh, wait, sorry guys, we gotta go. Bye."
Yep.
Don't even
bye.
Yep. So they just don't care.
Yep.
I mean, we've already talked about how it's at this point, Lenny and Squiggy are probably getting so much. They're getting so many girls in LA that they're probably they're not being as pervy around Laverne and Shirley as often. Like, they don't gotta worry about the underwear drawers as much because, all they gotta do is just go, down to, go to an audition basically and get a gal that is totally okay with like, all right, so sleep on way to the top. Okay.
Yeah. They have many illegal airlines standing in their, falling in their footpath, so to speak. Yeah, it's much easier for them here than it was for them way back when. Yeah,
but
and they really are generally perving on the girls less. The perving is either more subtle or it's just happening less because they're just not crossing paths with the girls as frequently.
Right,
which is interesting in and of itself. Yeah.
So the argument starts to escalate at this point of Lenny and Squiggy.
Yes.
My note here is that Squiggy is unhappy that Lenny isn't a carpet for him anymore. And I feel like, I might get some flack for that one because that's because I know we have some pretty hardcore Squiggy fans. And what it is that, because I've been, we're doing our top fives for season 5 at this point. So I've been reflecting on Duke of Squigman and also the episodes like in this year, like Night of the Awards, that cover an element that Squiggy kind of needs somebody to be lower than him, because he feels so low himself. But as long as he has something lesser than him, it's what I call the Travis Bickle effect.
Yeah. The boys. Sorry.
The idea being that Squiggy is feeling his world come undone with the situation changing on him so very suddenly and so severely, I guess.
Yeah. The boys both loathe themselves in completely different ways. And it's like very interesting the way that plays out. In a way, Squiggy is just knows that Lenny is like the only person in the world who will love him without a single hesitation,
Yeah.
without a single, even a little scintilla of worry, or he won't hold back, and he'll just love him as is. And Squiggy's kind of afraid that this will go away if some strange woman comes into the situation. We see it a little bit with Amy to a degree. We see it here. He's kind of accepting of, like, say, Lenny's being attracted to Sabrina. That's the only girl that Lenny approaches in the whole show. So she's the only girl he approaches in the show that Squiggy doesn't have comments about, aside from all the women they're sharing, or the one night stands, or the one day stands, and
Yeah.
so
The afternoon delights. Yes.
the afternoon delights, the back of the beer truck delights, so to speak.
Oh God. Yeah.
But as Squiggy says in this really good scene that he ends up sharing with Karen, you like a guy as long as I've liked Lenny, you forget why.
I love that.
It's really good. Yes. Yeah. That's what's at stake here for him. What's at stake here for him is someone that he's loved as long as Laverne has loved Shirley. Someone that he met somewhere around kindergarten or earlier, perhaps preschool. That's been his friend forever, and they've liked each other forever. And, what is he going to do if he loses this? And that's what's in his head.
Exactly.
What am I going to do? I don't know. And it's the possibility that this girl might sweep Lenny away into this higher, quote unquote, higher social strata and away from Squig. And the possibility that he'll be shut out, just like is Karen, and be ignored. It's interesting to me that the only girl he's enthusiastic about is the idea of Lenny and Laverne being together. Because Lenny's crush is right there. He wants them to have kids.
Right.
He's thrilled.
I think
He's rooting for this.
I wonder if part of it is that he doesn't feel like Laverne is going to take Lenny away, because Laverne is one of those always going to be around the quote unquote neighborhood.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is not going to drag him out of his environment. And so he won't lose Lenny if he's with Laverne, because they already hang out a bunch together anyway. The difference is just they'll be dating occasionally on their own or sleeping together or whatever.
Yeah. Or having kids. Even wanting them to have kids. Yeah. Not much had changed, and also Laverne would want to be with Shirley.
Exactly.
In other words, the boys would be hanging out, and then sometimes they'd be hanging out as a trio. We see them hang out as a trio a lot, so that wouldn't be any different to him. So, and she doesn't see him as a third wheel, so that'd be cool. That'd be fine. That's probably why he's more accepting. But here, Karen is kind of just cutting off Lenny's attention, and of course, the jealousy is that you're making him become too highfalutin for me.
Yeah,
he's gonna leave me.
He's going to leave me because I'm not good enough. Because I think what it is it's Squiggy's fear of not being good enough for Lenny.
Yeah.
And
Squiggy's fear of not being good enough for the world, to be real.
Right. Exactly.
Which is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he denies by puffing himself up, and Lenny thinks he's not good enough, and he just shrinks himself.
Exactly. Yeah. My note here is, even at the end of the Karen and Squiggy discussion, is that it's like the Duke comes back for a second. He's having to rewrite the events to give himself the win of that conversation.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not necessarily that he even won. It's that, she has news that she's got to go. We're going to be moving into Act 3 here. And
Yep. We gotta dwell here. We didn't do anything about the Carmine and Squee discussion.
May I call you Carm?
That's so good.
David's such a scene stealer in this entire episode.
Yes. One of David's best episodes. Secondly, he has so many episodes where he's Duke of Squiggy is incredible. Driving Test, he's incredible.
Yep.
Squiggy in Love, just bam, 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 bam. He was so good at so many different things. And here we got a combination of his tenderness and balls to the wall humor. Funny. That's hack.
And that sort of simmering rage that's about to break loose at any second. A rage born out of hurt and sorrow and fear of being abandoned.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discussed it, I think, before, that Lenny and Squiggy also have these different abandonment issues.
Yes.
Because of the different circumstances. For him, abandonment doesn't mean my mom's going to just go away and disappear. His level of abandonment is no one's going to be there for me, and I'm going to be locked in a closet,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be beaten, and I'm going to be abused, and all that.
Yeah.
And because Lenny's sort of blocked out and dissociated from what his mother did to him. So.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he thinks it was a game. He has convinced himself it was a game. She took Polaroids of her beating him as a baby. That is dark as hell.
Yeah.
If you really think about it. That is what Michael calls the sad in the middle of the funny. Because, Lord, if you really, really think about it, the audience is laughing because I'm not thinking about it. When you think about it long enough, you go, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh.
Yeah. And Squiggy went through so much between his mother's lousy choices and his father running out on him and his mother locking him in closets and literally leaving for weeks, leaving to starve and fend for himself. And he has decided to translate this into, I can handle anything. I'm mature. I'm tough.
Mm-hmm.
And Lenny has translated this into, if I love somebody hard enough, they will not leave me.
It's just not how it works, buddy.
Yeah. I love the fact that the boys fight super bitter. The idea of Lenny spawning puppies with Karen comes back from Look For Your Leap. We heard you was gonna have puppies.
Oh God, yeah.
Really
the whole thing about it, that is my note. Is like, oh God, don't call her a dog. Even if she likes the bones, she likes bones. But God, that line. And I do like Lenny's response. You're just being stupid on purpose at this point.
Yeah, which is a vicious condemnation, and its own way kind of true. Like, geesh.
Oh yeah.
I love that Squiggy's literally says to Carmine, "Why don't we team up to rip these two people apart?" Which is wow.
Yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's like, you're not my enemy, you're not my friend. You're just a Squiggy. What are you talking to me for?
Yeah. Lenny doesn't even believe in wrestling no more. This is such a good thing.
I do like that line. It's very good.
This is a complex battle, really. It really is a complex battle between Karen and Squig for this central ground that is Lenny.
And they have to throw a lot of different ideas into that one scene. It's very well done. It's very well done. And that whole, like, who do you think taught him that potential? I taught him that. Where that comes back. But
Karen acknowledges that Lenny looks up to him, which is really good. And he's more like, I don't treat him like a doormat. I don't hurt him. I don't do any of this stuff. And she's like trying to convince him to, maybe treat Lenny better. That's what she's trying to do.
Yep.
She knows she's going to be absent. So. Do you think Karen has the moral high ground to make any of these gestures, any of these statements?
Regarding the boys and their relationship?
Yeah, 'cause she's a newbie to it. She's such a newbie. And they've been friends forever.
That is a complicated question in terms of answering it, because the thing I do love about Lenny and Squiggy is their friendship is very specific to them. The reason they forgive each other is because they really do understand each other, and that there's a certain way that their years together have created this bond that no one else can really understand from the outside. So in that regard, I don't know if she has the moral high ground here, but at the same time, Squiggy does hold Lenny back. And additionally, Lenny is very cowardly in the regard to not branching out enough on his own. And so I would say yes and no. She does have the moral high ground in the sense that there are certain things that need to change and grow with the relationship. And especially with this situation is kind of a reminder that you can't be the same way you were when you were 16.
Yeah.
You have to grow up, and you have to let your best friend be able to move forward. You have to not feel like, I own this person. Like, that's just not a healthy thing. You should have grown out of this years ago.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are aspects of their friendship that she doesn't know, she isn't aware of, that even I don't feel I personally fully understand, even though I've had similarly complicated friendships with people that people have tried to break up and tried to say, oh, you can't do that, and that's the bond that the kind of bond that they share. That's like, that's really not anyone else's place to say except for me and that other person,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Does she have the moral high ground to say what she does about their relationship? Well, I hope our listeners out there let us know what they think, which you can at nightafternight.pod@gmail.com, because I would be very curious to be able to have like a discussion about that, because this is such a pivotal relationship in the show that is complicated. What does it mean to you?
It stays complicated. It stays complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's, I think ultimately in she's trying to help, but she's helping in the wrong way, in a way that's not going to like get through to Squiggy. So even though she does, she ultimately does get through to Squiggy and make him realize, well, yeah, I have to. I treat Lenny with more respect. In a way, these are the morals that we already kind of had with the boys, back with You Push Me Too Far, in a way. But in another way, this is more of a maturing where he realizes, oh yeah, I don't know. Back then, Squiggy did not know how to treat Lenny any better than dirt. Now he does.
Yeah, he does, and it's the next layer though, because I think what she's trying to say is, it's not about treating them like dirt. Stop treating them like a pet, a punching bag, or whatever. You need to, like, that line that, for instance, that he's, Squeaky says, he looks like a sissy with a bone around his neck, and I love that they cut to a close up of Karen as she glares him down.
Yeah.
I'm glad they put that in there, because what it is saying is that it's not just you're putting down something because of what I did. It's also about Lenny is an adult and has the right to make his decisions about what he wears. And you act like you're his best friend, but to me, a best friend wouldn't judge like that.
In the end, they're both trying in different ways. Squiggy's trying to protect this friendship, and he's trying to protect himself, and he's trying to protect Lenny in his own way because he thinks she's just a she-demon trying to rip them apart.
Right.
And Karen's trying to both help Lenny take a step out of himself and become more of an individual, and she's trying to, help the friendship with Squiggy grow and help them stick together and stay together.
Exactly.
Now, you can argue that they do not need this help. It's kind of like how, the gang didn't need Charles Grodin to solve all their problems before this.
Right.
So,
the fact that she tries to find common ground, what is it you like about him, and she's so reasonable and calm about it, is an olive branch moment that to me is very important.
Yeah, because she's heard Lenny. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
I guess what I mean is that she knows that Lenny is her pivot point for this whole group of people. And she's now trying to use that as a springboard to someone like Squiggy. And we don't have scenes of her talking to Carmine and Laverne and Shirley, which would be nice to see. But that is something that she would do if she was around long enough. So far has gotten along with them, and they're fine with her. Squiggy is the squeaky wheel that she's trying to figure out, how do I get through to him and say, I'm not meaning to steal your Lenny away. Lenny is still Lenny. The fact that I love many of the same things you love about him too. And that's what she's trying to get out of that conversation.
That's she's trying to get out of the conversation. And also, she has heard Lenny talk about this guy for months. For a month. Nearly a month.
Yeah.
She has heard him talk about this guy for a month, and she knows all of Squiggy's good points, all the wonderful things that Lenny sees when he looks at Squiggy. She's trying to get out of Squiggy, why does he like Lenny? Why is he stuck with him for so long? Because she's been marinating in like almost a month of, this is what Squiggy does. This is why I like Squiggy. I wish Squiggy was here, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, that's what this is about. That's about. It's just what you said. It's that she is desperately attempting to figure out what the heck's going on and why they're so bonded so closely.
Yep. Anyway, so Cowboy Bills. Lenny makes the phone call because he, the half of the phone that he would use to call Karen is also apparently Squiggy's in the apartment.
Yeah.
And she's going to Columbia University. She's going to the University of Columbia. Or actually, no, Columbia University. Yeah,
Columbia University. There's a total moment of hypocrisy here as Lenny offers to move to New York with Karen and apparently go live there with her when he was just talking with Laverne and not moving in with Davis. Which is very interesting if you really think about it.
It is. And I I do wonder if that's one reason she breaks it off, is because it's like, I understand Lenny, this desire, this impulsive desire, but there's a chance that he may have already told her about that story, for
Yeah,
all we know.
possible.
Because if it's recent history for him.
Yeah.
I mean, if a smart group was using this, timeline well, they would have set this episode like a day or so after the whole thing with David.
Yeah.
And made that the point that she even is aware, like, you just told me about this whole situation. I can't put you in that place.
Yeah.
I think it's also a case of she knows that, it is, they don't know each other well enough and they're not there yet. It makes sense for him to fall hard because this is something that really, really means something to him. And
it's Lenny.
It's very Lenny.
He falls hard immediately and fast.
Yeah. It doesn't happen all the time. Well, it happens often, but here it's also a case, I think, of the progression of his relationships in their depth. Because with Laverne, it's a friend he was going to help out in Look Before You Leap.
Yeah.
In The Slow Child, it's someone who is starting to connect with him, that he feels like a kinship, like, hey, we're buddies, and that is then a deeper relationship. And and so on and so forth. And I feel like this is now his new level, and that new level is making him even more desperate to hold on, because all of these others have either fallen apart, or they just didn't work out, or he's been outright rejected.
Yeah.
So it's because as I think you and I have discussed this, I don't know if we've discussed this on the pod, I know we've discussed it privately, that Lenny is the type of person that is so afraid it's going to just wither away. He clings too hard, too fast.
Yes. He is a don't leave me guy. He is an I will do anything to stop you from leaving me kind of guy.
Yeah.
He proposes to Laverne in Lenny's crush in a desperate act to keep her from dumping him. She can't be his girlfriend, she can be his wife. And I'm actually shocked he didn't try to propose to Karen.
Yeah.
I'm actually stunned he didn't do that in this episode, and he doesn't. He just lets her walk away. He pulls up a protective shroud, and then he loses it in public.
Yeah.
It's just like... The fact that he is willing to let her go is interesting to me in of itself. Because you would think he would fight harder at this point. Because he kind of does let her go after deciding to make the impulsive leap and run off to New York with her. And he takes that as just a quick rejection. I don't even know if he would agree to write to her after that. It's just fascinating to me because he has spent all this time cultivating this relationship. He's offered to go to New York with her, and he just, she says no, and I'll write to you. I don't want you to uproot your life for me, and our relationship is too young to do anything, but I'll keep it up to you this way. And he just flat out rejects it and just hangs up on her. And that's
partly about go ahead. Go ahead, please finish your thought.
It's about self-preservation at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's about
he almost
pulls
like a Squiggy here in his self-preservation.
Yeah,
which I think is very, very fascinating.
That's an interesting point, actually. When you put it that way, it actually then reminds me of, because as we're going towards the end of this episode, there is a role reversal in a sense where his expression is angry and it's very, as you're saying, it's more Squiggy. It's very much like, fine, get out of here then. You can't leave me, I quit. Yeah. And then when Squiggy finds out about the phrasing of the final farewell, he gets this delusion, this understandable delusion and concern that, Lenny's going to kill himself and drown himself in the tar pit, and runs after him. And that's more of a Lenny thing than a Squiggy thing. Because often when confronted with somebody's going to try to kill themselves, Squiggy would just respond with, well, what's in it for me?
Lenny would be, no, don't do it, don't die, don't kill yourself, no. So they do very much reverse roles here. Like, it would be interesting to me to see if Lenny actually kept on writing her.
Yeah.
And kept in contact with her. Or came to accept it. Because there's like a little bit of something they're missing. Like maybe he tries to write to her and they write back and forth for a while. Maybe it doesn't work. But him just really, 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 really taking it harshly and then just dumping her. And Michael has an amazing Bravo moment where he hangs up the phone and then he lets out this like primal scream while slamming the receiver.
Yeah, the wail. God.
A wail of grief. A total wail of grief. And rage and loss.
Hey, future me, let's go ahead and break the heart of all our listeners and play the clip.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
How good is Michael? He's always had those chops. People who come to me and say, "Wow, I don't know how Lenny could put in that performance in Better Call Saul," and he's always had it. He has had it. Probably when he probably had it in his teens when he was on stage, developing as an actor. He's just always been that good. It's just never that he never ended up getting dramatic parts in large scale productions. But he's the kind of guy who could do Laverne Shirley and do Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
He can do both.
Get a man who can do both.
Oh, yeah. Ultimately, this is a moment that rips my heart out of my chest. It's just like, it's a Kali Ma moment, where you're staring at your own heart beating in somebody's hand.
Oh.
Kali Ma, Kali Ma. And it's just hard and really intense. And it's such an expression of Lenny's incredible self-hatred and self-loathing. Where it's like Michael takes the opportunity to jump up and down on the audience's chest.
And then he still got the time to check the coins and get a laugh.
Yeah. That's balance. That's well balanced, well written. And managed to keep the funny right there along with the shirt-rending wail of grief that we have to go through.
And then we get this wonderful interaction between him and Pop.
Yeah, Frank gets to be in full dad mode. It's really, really good.
Ain't the end of the world, you know?
And he gives some great advice. You notice that nobody looks up when he does this, though. Cowboyville's Dinner Theater is less entertaining than Pizza Bowl Dinner Theater, I see.
Let's be real here. We've known this for a while, since season 6.
Hey, I like the California years like some of these episodes, hey.
Fine.
Maybe they're jaded Californians.
Could be. And that's the thing. It could be that it's not the best dinner theater at a Cowboy Bills franchise.
True. Maybe somebody over in San Francisco is putting on a be-in one of the franchises.
Exactly.
It's totally possible.
Then I love Pop's use of mixed proverbs. It reminded me of Doc from Boondock Saints. It's people in glass houses saying ships.
That's so great. Oh no, now I'm not gonna be able to unsee it every time I see this scene. When he actually literally says that he doesn't matter, it's like, more Kali Ma, more staring at your own heart.
Okay. Do you need me to do some quick surgery? Put your heart back in there? Do you need a blanket? Need some warm milk?
Hey, I'll take the blanket and some cookies. Anyway. I literally wrote down "yes, you do" when I took notes for that this morning. It's like, yeah, yes, fictional character, you do matter. It's like poor Lenny, and Frank is really wise and really mature here, kind of giving him space to process what he's been through, and a way to get through this pain and process it in a healthy way, and kind of look back on the situation fondly in time. And so much time he hasn't had yet. I love Frank. It's scary, but I think I got through to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, practically breaking the fourth wall. It's good. Yeah. It's a very sitcom line, but it works.
Yeah, it does. And then poor Squig comes in, and he just demolishes poor Mary the waitress's tray.
Oh, God.
In an act of horror, because he thinks Lenny's just going to off himself.
Yep. I mean, and it's understandable with the phrase, because, again, it's knowing Lenny, Squiggy knowing Lenny, and Squiggy knowing himself and their relationship and the kind of the enmeshing of the two of them, that, the codependency, that it's like, oh no, it's the big one. He's finally going to do it.
Honestly, Lenny's basically said that if he had, only 24 hours to live, he'd kill himself.
Yeah, doesn't want to wait for it.
He's already talked about suicide before. That's really terrible.
Yeah. Oh, Star-Crossed.
Star-Crossed, yep. Which I continue to think that is lyrically written by him. It feels like it was.
Anyway, but he's just going to give the bone a aloe vera grave.
Yeah, sweet aloe vera grave. And then Squiggy's horrified.
Don't kill yourself, and jumping in with the net.
Yeah.
My note, by the way, of this is bro time.
Bro time.
It's bro time.
This is a really, 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 really great conversation.
Yeah, Squiggy asking for forgiveness. You're what they call a potential person. You're in this tar long enough, you start to feel differently.
Yeah.
And I love that
God.
Squiggy, like we've said before, like there's these moments where he can be supportive about like, yeah, she's actually pretty great, and like she's got brains and everything. Sort of like he's finally come around to realizing this is Karen was actually kind of like did actually get through to him in a sense of like this friendship is valuable and it can't go away.
Yeah.
And she didn't want it to go. And that's the thing. She didn't want it to go away. She didn't want to break them up.
No, she didn't. She wanted to be a part of the entire social circle, and she wanted them to have a slightly, in her opinion, healthier relationship. In her opinion.
Right.
And it got soon as Squiggy like, oh yeah, she was good. It's okay. I like her all right. Just don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
and then Leia said, and then the two of them began to realize how much they really do value each other.
Tell me everything I know. It's like, tell me everything I know, Squig. It's like, yeah, I'll send you a bill.
Everything I am, I owe to you.
That's
the line.
it.
And then I'll send
Thank
you a
you.
bill, which is a great one-liner. And there's a really great laugh. And
then freeze frame. Yeah.
Yeah. Squiggy also acknowledging Lenny's smarts.
Oh, totally.
Really, really, really is a lovely moment for them. And Squiggy really, 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 really treats him very well at the end. And that's a real moment of reconciliation. One of the best scenes for the boys. One of them up there.
I think so. It's definitely one of their better reconciliations for these types of episodes too, because it's not ending in shaking the hands and going stupid. It's them, because they do that, I think, with each other to sort of reassure each other that they're still okay.
Yeah.
And here they've reached a growth in confidence for both of them, and about each other. They don't need it.
Yeah.
Not this.
Yeah,
not this time anyway.
No, it's a growing moment. It's a really good growing moment.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a really good moment where they kind of look at each other and realize, okay, this is stable. This is going to last. It's really, 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 really good for the two of them. It's excellent stuff.
Yeah. It's good.
Then we get this tag scene that well, it's okay. It's funny.
Yeah. Are you in a playful mood? I'm getting there.
Yeah. And they're gonna go get some feathers and run around after tarring and feathering themselves.
Yeah.
Some of them.
It is nobody in LA except us chickens.
I love this little episode. I love it so much. I love all the ways in which the boys grow.
It's a good one. Really good. It's a really good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to mention in my notes regarding, there was a line of dialogue. Damn it! I know I have this written down. Come on. Because I will say, like, we really talked the Lenny, Karen, Squiggy triangle thing, but there are some wonderful lines on the sidelines.
Yeah.
One of which I want to point out is the exchange between Carmine and Shirley.
Oh.
And she's so bright, it really takes brains to get a master's. Yep. And she's with Lenny. Strange world. And then in unison, they go, yep. I love that so much. That's a great chemistry moment.
Yep. It's like they can't believe this is happening. They're witnessing it.
It reminds me of almost like callbacking to Squiggy in Love and the blind, yes, but deaf, dumb, and unable to smell.
Yes. It's the exact line. I love that. No, this time they're just kind of more sanguine about it. It's like, this is happening. Fine. Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry your head about it. Just let them have their fun.
Well, you gotta remember that of the two of them, Shirley thinks Lenny's the dumber one, and Laverne thinks Squiggy's the dumber one.
Yeah. Anywho, I think I'm good for notes for this episode. There's a lot of great stuff, and cool. What are you ranking this?
Oh, this one is a good old solid 10. This is good. No, actually, this is a 9. This is 9.5. It's good.
Okay.
It's got a couple of flaws, like I kind of want a little more closure from Lenny and Karen. A little bit more. Like, we get the big rejection, and that happens, and that's fine. But I'll be darned if I don't, want a better reconciliation to the point where they're, writing, or they're at least able to say goodbye without enmity.
Yeah, I totally hear you there. And I think I'm going to probably go for the same ranking, and kind of for similar reasons. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of a coda on the relationship. And I would have liked to have seen a little bit more weighing in I understand why it's not there, but at the same time, I think it would be kind of nice to have seen just that little extra. But that being said, it's hard to find the time for it. This episode is jam packed with the stuff. It's you know, if the only extant scene is that just little bit of Squiggy crossing set and putting his leg up, I mean that's like 7 seconds at most. So there was no time. The other thing I also would have liked to have seen is regarding the whole like letting things go, or just, you know, the whole accepting rejection, is a scene with the two of them at the tar pits, of Karen and Lenny talking at the tar pit, and he loses something into it. Yeah. And she says, you know, sometimes you just have to let these things go. And, you know, and understanding that the tar is essentially the bones and bits and pieces of these old animals that are just, they're gone. There's nothing left in them. And that it just, you have to move on. And that would have made I feel like his acceptance or acquiesce to the breakup much easier to buy, because he then realizes that was unintentionally was the setup for that moment.
Yeah. The way all those little puzzle pieces slide together is beautiful. It's perfect. Very close to perfect. 9.5. It's really high up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're still saying this is in the much watch category.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is one of the best episodes of the season. In the season that's pretty good. And we got another excellent episode from the boys coming up later in the season.
Hey, nice.
Which should definitely be thrilling to get through.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll quickly have a word from our sponsor on the podcast version of this show, and then we'll return to let you know of what madness is coming your way next time on Night After Night.
Have exact change.
All right, everybody. So thank you so much for joining us for Night After Night. And if you would like to know more, you can find us at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Patreon, YouTube, or wherever good podcasts can be found. Please definitely give us a subscription on YouTube if you can, and give us a like on the video if you dug it. And we also would love for you to join us on Twitter at NightAfNightPC if you want to talk a little bit more about Laverne and Shirley and Lenny and Squiggy and all that good happening Marshallverse goodness. So yeah, for some reason I'm getting like a Meet the Feebles kind of vibe, or maybe it's like the International House of Pancakes or something. Lisa, my dear, my darling, what's happening next?
Laverne lands herself a handsome interpreter, and she gets a date for Shirley to a big party, but both girls are forced to face down their hubris and hypocrisy. This is Watch a Fur Fly.
Oh, well, yeah, it's, I guess we'll just see what happens, next time.
Fur will fly and will be spilled. Bye, kids, and remember, for heaven's sake, if you are going to be going out on a date with a guy who is very, 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 very close to his best friend, do it away from a tar pit. Bye.